Fysh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a pleasure to follow my honourable friend, but let's actually remember the people in all of this. They voted 2 years ago to leave the European Union, and then they voted in an election on where we stood on a manifesto saying that we would leave the European Union and its two main pillars, the single market and the customs union. Those are integral to what the European Union is. And they want to see their instruction carried out now. So I, to be honest, think it's quite shameful to be calling for a second referendum before the first one has even been implemented. The reality is that the single market and customs union, if we went down that road, and most of the motions that are there today, not at this point, most of the motions that are there today are to do with trying to implement those anyway, even as we leave, in contravention of that manifesto and the referendum result. But they effectively give away our trade policy, and they effectively give away our control of our regulation in our own country. And both of those things are very, very valuable to our economy and to our future as a nation and to our children. And it's worth just pointing out, because I don't think many people quite understand, with respect, what a customs union, rather than being in the customs union of the European Union, actually entails. Many people think that this allows frictionless trade, but that isn't correct. What it does mean is that we would have to implement a system of movement certificates. There would be export declarations associated with those. It doesn't take away the need for border formalities and for recording of goods moving across borders. I'm not going to give way because I know a lot of people want to get in. But the other point is that we would not be in control of various aspects of it. So we wouldn't be in control of the conditions, those conditions of the formalities at the border. We wouldn't be in control of the money collected by tariffs, for example, if goods were coming to our market but via Rotterdam. The tariffs on those imports, effectively to us, would be collected and kept in the European Union. So it doesn't control our money, and it doesn't give us control of the access to our trading partners to our market, and it doesn't also give us control of our traders' access to our trading partners' markets. So it really is inconceivable to me that we should even be considering a permanent customs union as a feature of leaving the EU in any recognisable description. And so that, I think, is one reason why people outside this place are quite confused by some of the suggestions that the House has been coming up with. The other thing to understand is that many of the single market proposals and the customs union proposals that are on the table tonight, they don't obviate the need for a backstop in the withdrawal agreement. And so the problems of the withdrawal agreement, which some on my side have been highlighting, and others, those problems would remain anyway. So the problems of being hostage to fortune within the further negotiation of how those customs union arrangements might work, or how the single market arrangements might work to, for example, give exemptions on fishing, as we heard earlier, and other matters, those would still be up for negotiation, where we were in a relatively weak position in that negotiation. So the hostages, for example, of defence manufacturing, which would be prejudiced by the backstop should we end up having to go into it. The same for agriculture, the restrictions on state aid for our agriculture while the EU is allowed to subsidise its agriculture. Those still remain. The issue of Northern Ireland, what happens to Northern Ireland should we not be able to agree, still remains. So I don't really see these things as particular solutions. And it's also possible, and to come to the circumstances of my motion, point of order.
Honourable Gentleman's